Soldiers of Shoot.
Woo! Man. I can't even get into the open here. Soldiers of Shoot. I'm Daddy Cool AC. He's the Hollywood. The Blading for Truth, Jeff Edwards. This has got to be, we're going to call it a cool truth because that's exactly what it's going to be. I don't know how many hours we're going to be with you tonight, but we're going to be with you, many of them. Hollywood, Jeff, my brother.
Dude.
AEW post show. How you feeling?
Oh, I'm feeling. No words, brother. I mean, this show, man. This show.
All right, let's start there. Let's start here. Expectation exceeded.
Yes.
I gotta agree.
Yes.
I was cautiously optimistic. And dare I say nervous.
Yes. Yep.
And they knocked it out of the fucking park. We're going to get into all the details with the before, the after. We're going to break down the matches.
Everything.
Where they go from here, the production. We're going to get into it all. But overall, they knocked it out of the park.
They really did, man. Like, before it came on, I think about 2 or 3 hours before the show started, I was actually getting, like, nervous for them. Like, I just was hoping that the feed wouldn't drop or the audio would be, an hour into the show going, like, things like that. And they did have a couple production issues, but it was like, dude, they destroyed it, man. They hit a home run. Easy. And right now we are, 24 hours past as we record this. Go on Twitter right now, and you will see people tweeting about this right now, dude. I just went on Twitter before we popped on here. It's insane. They dropped a nuclear bomb on pro wrestling, man, and total home run.
So, and I want to say this. When you're talking about a couple of production things here or there, let's put into perspective what they're pulling off here. This is not, territory era. Let me do this WrestleMania 1 pay-per-view.
Right.
There's really no nothing to go on at that point. And let's be honest. In some ways, there's nothing to go on with the AEW blueprint. But in some ways, there is. Because whether they like it or not, and whether they want to be or not, the comparison, especially when it comes to the fans and the vocal fans, is going to be there. Mm-hmm. When they dropped WrestleMania 1, did they have, the machine with a stranglehold on the business hanging over them with this technology and all these expectations, and the Khan family and Cody and Kenny and the Young Bucks and being the elite and everything else? You can make the case that, like, they had no expectations. I would actually make the case that their expectations were probably very high.
Yeah.
People that wanted this to be great, you and I, and I'm sure DJ Staines and Bobby, the Electric City Saint, Steamtown Stunner, everybody on Soldiers of Shoot, people we know, friends of ours, family members of ours, wanted big things for this company, wanted a big first show for this company, and we actually cared about it. That's why we were nervous about it.
It's true. Yes.
And listen, you can nitpick about everything. And listen, I didn't. If I'm going to sit here and tell you, like, I'm not going to it's not glowing lights. Everything was perfect. It will never be that. And anybody who's being honest will never be that. No wrestling show, no TV show, no entertainment form, nothing you do in life is going to be perfect. But if you could have a show that gets you excited about something, they did that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, since we're talking production already, just to kick it off, I just want to say, like, I saw some stuff on Twitter. People were complaining, like, I believe it was in the Sammy Guevara match. He did that. I don't even know what move he did because you couldn't see it. I can't even, it was off to the side. But there were 3 quick camera shots, and that was obviously production. Let me tell those guys something. Yes, you have a gripe. Yes, Cody said in a post or in a pre-show at StarCast, they want to hear everything, even the bad. So if you want to, go ahead and talk about that. But I'll tell you what, I will take a move like that, a quick camera cut, you missed the move. I'll take that any day. I'll take that 5 times a night rather than the Shield coming out and whooping ass and extreme zooms and the camera shaking on purpose. I can't watch that shit WWE does. And they do it constantly. You didn't get any of that. You got a couple mistakes and they're fixable. Easily fixable.
Right. And listen, I thought, in fairness to the camera and production people, the area around the ring was very small. There wasn't a lot of room.
Absolutely.
And it was clear that they were shooting what they saw and the production people were reacting to it. There was no, this is going to happen then, zoom in on this, because there was a couple, listen, I mean, I don't want to get into specifics for matches yet, but there was one point in the Cody Dustin match where they're all bloody and Cody's like hanging over Dustin and he kind of licked his lip with this kind of creepy look.
Yeah.
And as you're really getting involved in it, the referee just jumps in front of him. And I'm like, oh, you killed the shot. But at the same time, it's like, I see what they're doing here. Like, people are just reacting.
Yes.
Listen, they took their first baby step.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be fair about this right now.
Absolutely.
They're taking their first baby step. And when you take it into context, I thought they did a stand-up job. Just getting general reactions, I don't know how you feel about it and the people that you've talked to, but the people that I've talked to, the people that want something different are very excited about this. The people that might want something different but are really WWE fanboys at heart seem to want to give. I'll give you this much. It was good, but yeah, the first half was better than the second half. Okay.
What?
No, listen, I'm just overall synopsis here. I liked the belt, but it didn't blow me away. Okay.
Oh, come on. That's the best, dude. That's the best pro wrestling title since that Winged Eagle that the WWF used to have. I mean, come on. All right, yeah, all right. Stop. I'll stop. Go ahead.
We're gonna get there. I'm just throwing a few of them out there. I also heard, and a good friend of mine, you know who you are. Shout out to you. And we were in a group text, and we personally texted because it got a little heated. Said that they should have put the show at $20 instead of $50 because they would have got more viewers. And before we get into all this, I want to talk about this because I find that to be far from the truth for a lot of reasons. Social media being one of them, the TNT TV deal being another, and illegal streaming being the third. And here's what you have to realize in this sports world, and this is something the UFC has realized, and it's part of the reason why Brock Lesnar is available to the WWE. The UFC realized that pay-per-view is a dying breed. They could still utilize it, but we need to move on from it in a way. And they can utilize illegal streaming in another way. And if you have a deal with ESPN or you have a deal with TNT, even though people might illegally stream it, they're still watching it.
Yes.
And that might bring their eyes to TNT. That
Sure,
you know what I'm
right.
saying?
Yep.
And here's the other point I made. Let's just throw out a number. 100,000 people.
Okay.
Let's just say 100,000 people bought the pay-per-view. The early reports seem to say that it's more than that. Maybe double, maybe more than double. And that's just pay-per-view. That's not international. That's not streaming, because they were streaming on Bleacher Report, which I believe is owned by Warner, who signed them to TNT.
Yep.
It's all tied. Right, it's all tied together. So those of you out there like, oh, is AEW going to have a streaming service? Well, they do through Warner. Mm-hmm. They're not going to have a WWE network because they don't have a product to put on the network. They don't have
because they just had their first show.
They don't have 40 years of a fucking wrestling library to put on a network. So use your noodle. But having said all that, let's just say, for example, 100,000 people bought this pay-per-view at $50.
Yep.
So 100,000 people paid $50. Mm-hmm. Who would now? I'm not a mathematician, but 100,000 at $50 over 180,000 at $20. The 100,000 is more profitable. No.
Maybe
you could probably triple it because of illegal streaming. And again,
right, and
UFC,
they figure that in. They do. They're smart enough. Like, to your point, like Game of Thrones, for example.
Thank you.
Apparently the most pirated show in history, right? They know, and they don't care because they know, like, a big portion of those people watching illegal streaming, they'll buy the T-shirt, they'll buy the coffee cup, they'll buy the whatever. So they're making their money back. It's just an extension of the body of the show. You know what I mean? They don't care.
The 8th season Blu-ray and 4K
right.
or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And here's the thing about it. They know this is happening.
Yes.
It's not a secret. Why would you try to sell pay-per-views at a cheap value when you set a value? It is what it is.
Yep.
And you know people are going to legally stream it. And let's be honest, there's a blowback in some of these industries. Wrestling happens to be one of them, with illegally streaming. Mm-hmm. In some of the groups and other stuff, they're taking down the posts, and none of us are in any position to tell people to do what they're going to do financially. And if you're a fucking college kid and you have no money and your parents are going to fucking freak out if you use $50 on your credit card to order an AEW event and you illegally stream it, I'm not going to get all over you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's also a portion of people out there that just try to illegally stream everything.
Right.
But at the end of the day, what AEW's main goal of last night probably was, although they wanted to put on one of the best wrestling pay-per-views that you've seen in a long time, and that was their big, theme at the end of the night, which I agree with, and it should be their theme. But their other theme is like, we need to create a buzz. And before we get into the matches, I want to throw a couple numbers at you.
Okay.
And I don't know that you have looked at any of this or whatever. And you and I have talked about this kind of stuff in the past, where we were kind of worried because the returns on some of the AEW videos were a little bit low compared to Impact and other things.
Right. On their YouTubes or whatever. Yeah.
I'm gonna pull up this one. This is TNT's YouTube channel.
All right.
They have 309,000 subscribers. Okay?
Okay.
The buy-in, the pre-show, 570,000 views real time.
Yeah.
And at 10:30 p.m. on Sunday night, the 26th of May. 570,000. That's just on the TNT YouTube channel that has 309,000 subscribers.
Yeah, that's huge, man. That's huge. If you look at YouTube, especially because we're doing this YouTube thing, there's a lot of, like, you could see even big channels like news and whatever. It's usually a percentage of the subscribers. You usually don't break the ceiling over your subscribers that often.
They almost doubled it.
They almost doubled it. That's big. That's a big statement. And by the way, I mean, they had that pre-show going on their own YouTube channel, I believe, the Bucks YouTube channel. It was actually aired on pay-per-view, so you had multiple places to go to watch it.
I watched the buy-in show on the TNT feed only because it was the only one I could find that actually had the entire buy-in.
Okay.
You saying it's on pay-per-view, so I'm guessing anybody that ordered on pay-per-view plus maybe more watched it there.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why I wanted to bring this up, on the AEW YouTube, they have a 35-minute version that you didn't get the whole Battle Royal, and it cut off the Cody promo leading in, kind of like when all the guys came out with Brandy, Young Bucks, Kenny, and they were passing around the mic. Well, halfway through whatever Cody was saying, it cut off. Okay. And then the TNT feed had all of it. But that right now is over 250K.
Wow. Dude, so we're talking like, oh my God.
No,
this might be bigger than we thought it was.
could you have people that, like me, bounced around to find it? Maybe. I mean, yeah, and then if you're telling me if you're watching on pay-per-view, you got the pre-show, there's no need to stream it, there's no need to find it. That's pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good for your first show, I would say.
Seriously. Again, before we get into the matches, I just want to bring up one other thing for you. Something interesting I heard with Tony Khan. The network they're going to be on in the UK.
Oh, I forget the... what is it? ITV4, I believe.
ITV, yeah, it's pretty much a big deal. He said that he pitched this idea to them before he linked up with Cody, the Bucks, Omega, Jericho.
Mm-hmm.
So if all you out there, some of you, still think you're dealing with just a money mark who doesn't know anything about pro wrestling, you're wrong.
Cody's been trolling WWE pretty hard at StarCast and, during the show. So, yeah, he mentioned that somewhere, I think it was at StarCast, their TV deal is better than WWE's. WWE sucks. So I had to dig around to see why he said that. Apparently ITV4, which AEW is going to be on, is like accessible to 27 million homes, something like that. WWE's deal is on ITV, 2 million homes accessible.
And this is just the UK.
Just the UK. Yep.
So they're
on the bigger. Yeah.
So WWE has 10% of their audience.
Yes, pretty much.
Right now.
Yep.
Okay. Yet they put a NXT faction in the UK. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
Anyway, okay. All right. Well, listen, we're not gonna. I think we're gonna try to stick to the AEW and not bash, but some things may come up. And let's be honest. Cody specifically took some shots over the weekend, which we got to talk about.
Of course.
A couple other things I heard from Tony Khan and Cody before and after the show. Cody said after the show that Tony Khan timed the show in Gorilla.
I love this. Go ahead.
First ever time that he's actually timed a wrestling show. And he expanded on it by saying how difficult it is, to the point that Gerald Briscoe was the only one that was able to do it in the WWE for a certain amount of time because it's so difficult. Mm-hmm. So this is the type of guy that is leading them. Is Cody two horns? Maybe. They're in good hands with Tony Khan, bro.
I think so, man. He comes off as a genius, in my opinion.
I like him.
Yep.
He's just likable.
He is.
He's very likable.
He looked so happy on that post show. Oh my God, did he look happy? It was like a complete success, and he knows it, and he's happy about it, and kudos, man.
You know what he looked at? He looked like the guy that sold something to his parents, put a lot of money into it.
Yeah.
He allowed the players to be who they are, and they made him proud and delivered. But Mark Henry and Cody had a very good back and forth.
Yes, they did.
During one of the pressers. But one of the reporters asked Tony Khan how his father felt after the show. His response was this: I know he liked it, he had fun, and the pay-per-view returns are good, so he's happy.
Yep.
Think about that. He said it. He was not asked the question. He brought it up.
Mm-hmm.
So they know more than we do. And Warner, who they side with, knows more than we do.
Yep.
So if they're fucking giddy, that was very genuine. That wasn't like
it was a genuine moment.
It wasn't like the Dana White, like douchey, like I'm fucking smarter than you, you're an asshole, I know what I'm talking about, like trying to sell you that we're giddy about it. That was legit emotion.
Yep. Yeah, and just to have, dude, this is wrestling. And the owner is standing there talking to the wrestling media.
As an owner. Not in gimmick.
Right.
You know, he just as a he at that time and place, he was Jerry Jones. He was Tony Khan, the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. You know what I'm saying? He was John Mara. You know.
Yep.
He was. You know. And he came off that way. And you know, I heard people bringing up to him the fact that, you know, he's in high pressure sports, the NFL, soccer in Europe. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is not a guy that doesn't take on challenges here. You know, granted, he goes where the money is. We could see that. So the guy goes where the money is, but he takes on challenges and allows people to be who they are. The whole thing, you know.
You know what else he is too? He's a fan, bro.
Yeah,
he's a fan, and like he mentioned, and I believe when he says it, I've seen every pay-per-view ever. I just wanted to put on one of the best ones, and I think we did.
He said that more than once too.
Yeah,
he like doubled and tripled and quadrupled down on that statement.
Yep.
I've seen every wrestling pay-per-view ever. He said the words.
I believe him.
And basically, his big point was, I feel like we've put on the best pay-per-view since all the other companies went away.
Yep.
He almost to the point where he didn't want to brag.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Which I found interesting.
Yeah, he's an interesting cat. They're changing the game, dude. I mean, you not only him, but you had Cody, you had Dustin. I don't even know who else. They all did post-game press conferences, and they weren't really in character. Like, where else have you ever seen that?
So we did the pre-show, and we were under the impression that Sammy Guevara and Kip Sabian were going to open the pre-show as the first ever AEW match. They did sell that match as the first ever singles match. They said it multiple times. But the first ever match in the history of AEW was the Casino Battle Royale. They stressed that Royale, that it wasn't a Royal, it was a Royale on the buy-in. I mean, I don't think we need to name off every guy that was in the match here. You got 22 competitors. You got the likes of you know, some of the up and coming guys they've signed, like Private Party, like Pillman Jr., who changed his hair, which I hate. I think he needs to just go back to the hair that looks just like his father. I thought he should have stuck with that. I hated that he changed it.
Very Ricky Morton. Very Ricky Morton looking.
Mm-hmm. You got Ace Romero. You got Jimmy Havoc. You got Joey Janela. And my girl Penelope out there. Anytime I see Joey Janela, I see Penelope, and I'm happy. You know what I'm saying? Tommy Dreamer's in the match. I picked MJF to win it, and I still kind of feel like if Pac was on this show, I might have been right. I thought maybe we'd get a bigger surprise in this match, but you got Adam Page, and I think once you saw Adam Page in a match, it was kind of clear where they were headed.
Sure.
So many things here. Hollywood, I'll defer to you. What stood out for you? And I want to throw something out. After you get up to all that, I really want to get into this point. Do you think this Battle Royale thing works, or should this be kind of like the last one?
Okay. Well, I think there were a couple decent spots. I love the Ace Romero spot where he basically just collided with, I can't remember the guy's name, shorter guy. Collided with him and basically just threw him over the top rope from the middle of the ring.
Do you know the history behind that?
I know he does it a lot.
Okay, so he did it on an indie show and it went viral.
Oh, okay.
And then they invited him to All In, and he did at All In, and he did it at an XWA show. He basically last summer he toured everywhere doing it, so they kind of kept it going.
I love the spot. It's very cool.
It's cool.
The match itself, like there were a couple good spots in there, but the match itself, to me, I think they need to work on. I like the concept. So if they do this like an annual show, and I don't want to get too much into Cody post-show, but he did say this and probably All Out will be two of the majors. So if they do this and it's a recurring thing every year, as a gimmick, I like it, but I think they need to balance it better. Like if you're going to have 5 guys, give me one that everybody knows in each group. You know what I mean? Because there was a time there where it was kind of like, okay, you're looking at the guys, you know their names, but you don't really know them. From my perspective, like I know who Pillman is, I know who Jungle Boy is, but I have no rooting interest in them, I guess. So from a fan's perspective, if they could balance it out,
you're not invested. And interesting you bring that up because Diamond Dave Rosenbluth brought up that very point to me when he was talking about the earlier stuff on the show. In fairness to the commentators, there's almost only so much story you could tell. Oh, yeah. Like when Private Party came out and Isaiah Cassidy got knocked over, and he never makes it to the ring before the next suit of cards comes out, so to speak, because they were doing a suit of cards. And Marquand, his tag team partner, comes out, and they're like, Isaiah Cassidy's still outside the ring, and Marquand's taking care of him. If you don't know who Private Party is, you're like, okay.
Right, yep.
What does that matter?
I'll throw a caveat on it, though. Again, some of these guys we're going to see on TV.
It's a little recognition, though. It's a little recognition that you saw.
Right.
And I think that was the point of the match.
Sure, yeah, obviously. But by the next time they do this, we're going to know exactly who Jungle Boy is in the one group, and then MJF in the next group. So, again, it's the first show, so we're being a little bit critical about it, but that's going to change. That's going to change once we see who their regulars are.
They do the show in late June, July, whatever it is, in Jacksonville, and then you're going to do All Out in end of August. Then that will probably be your big lead into the TV. Give it the month to marinate.
Yes.
Don't open both those shows like you did with this one and All In with a Battle Royal. You know what? Even if you want to do a freaking 10-team tag team gauntlet match, just give them something different. I agree. Get the players in there. Get people thinking about it. Mention their names so they see them. Oh, shit, that was the guy from the Battle Royale at Double or Nothing. Yeah, now he's in a gauntlet match. Okay, yeah, I remember him. You know what I mean? Oh, that's Pillman Jr. Beautiful. I just don't want him. I just don't want them to do this every show.
I agree. I agree with that. Yep.
Because it comes off as lazy. Sure. It just does.
Yep.
But the concept of getting the names out there is cool. I like the idea that they sold that Page had won and the bell rings, but then you realize MJF's still in it. He kind of throws Page out, but he doesn't go all the way out. Hits him with the buckshot lariat, who, I got to be honest, dude, that buckshot lariat is one of my favorite moves in wrestling.
It's awesome. That's not a clothesline. That's a lariat,
Dude, and you... that's one of those. Remember when Morrow was in SmackDown and he was working with JBL, and he would call son a discus lariat, and he was like, That's a spinning clothesline. If Adam Page did that, it would be like, shut the fuck up, JBL.
Right.
It's a fucking lariat. And not only is it lariat, it is the coolest lariat in fucking wrestling.
Yes.
Because it is. It's one of the coolest moves in wrestling.
It's awesome.
It looks cool, but it's simple. He does a flip over the ropes that just murders you with a clothesline. But because he does that flip and he's a cowboy, it's a freaking cowboy lariat or whatever the hell they call it. You know what I mean? It's cool.
It's wrestling.
Like, how is that? It's one of the coolest moves in wrestling. Not everything's got to be, double destroyers like Lucha Brothers pull off, which is amazing too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, you can have the best of both worlds. Overall, I mean, I'm not going to go crazy about the Battle Royale. I like the idea they put another twist on it. Yeah. You're in the title match if you win. So you knew that it was going to be a big thing. It's the first ever match in the history of AEW. Adam Page wins it. Cool stuff. And then we get, I think in the middle of that, I think they did the hype video for Cody and Dustin, which I thought was very well done.
Yeah, it was in there. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I thought that thing was very well done. It reminded me again, and we're probably gonna hit this theme a lot throughout this show. When watching All In, where they did like hype videos for Cody and Nick Aldis for the 10 pounds of gold, and they showed the old videos of Dusty and Flair and everything else, and you're just like, I don't know if it's Cody's influence, which I'm guessing it is. It's very well done. And if you listen to the preview show, you guys all know the match we were on from day one was Cody and Dustin, and we're gonna get. But that it just if you were on the fence about ordering the pay-per-view, and you're a wrestling fan, and you know anything about the history of wrestling, and you saw that hype video and you didn't order this pay-per-view, I mean, I don't know, man.
Dude, I don't know how you can't. I mean, if you're young and you can't afford it, that's one thing, but you need to be glued somewhere getting the information. And if you're not, dude, if you didn't watch this pay-per-view and you're a wrestling fan, I don't know what to tell you. I question if you're a wrestling fan if you didn't see this live.
You know what? I don't give you a pass if you're young and you don't have money. I'm going to tell you something right now. When we were kids, there was no WWE fucking network. Yep. We couldn't sell our parents on the fact that if you buy me the WWE network for $10 a month, I could watch every pay-per-view, and I could watch NXT, and I could watch takeovers, and I could watch all this stuff. You want to know what we had to do when we were kids? We had to not only convince our parents that we needed to watch a WWE, WWF pay-per-view every single month. We needed to convince them that we needed to watch a WCW pay-per-view every single month. We had to convince them that we needed to watch 2 pay-per-views every single month. So if you can't find a way to watch these pay-per-view through illegal streaming, through streaming it, through paying for it, through finding the way to get the money, through selling drugs, through convincing your parents as wrestling fans, because we convinced our parents to buy 2 pay-per-views a month. So suck it. And that's a fact of the matter.
I love it.
I'm not being anything more. And that's just fair. We did that.
Yeah, we got the job done somehow.
Them to buy 2 pay-per-views a month. We found a way to watch Nitro 3 hours and Raw 2 hours every stinking week. We had the VCR tapes. I know you don't know what they are, but they were available. That's what we did. We have a right to speak on this game because we lived this fucking game.
That's right. That's right.
As OGs, as fans.
That's right.
It wasn't easy for us. There was no WWE network. Okay? There was no internet.
There was no illegal stream that we could just pop on. If you couldn't find an illegal stream, dude, we said on the pre-show this was going to be historic. And if you didn't have the fandom inside you to watch this shit live and be a part of history, I question your fandom. Period.
100%. And dude, let's be honest with it. Not only did you have to convince yourself or convince your parents to buy 2 pay-per-views a month, you had to convince them to let you use the goddamn living room to watch both of them.
Oh, yeah. One TV, people. One TV.
You might have had a TV in your bedroom, but the main cable box was in the living room.
Damn right it was.
You had to convince them to watch the goddamn pay-per-view with you. And half the time they bitched about it the whole time. Oh, this is so far. This is so corny. He has face. I was watching Hulk Hogan Hulk up in 1983. Okay, Dad. All right, good. Yeah, well, you turned me on to this, so it's your fault.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, we said our piece of that.
Yeah, we did.
Come on, listen, the OGs, you're marking out for that right now.
Yes.
And if you're not marking out for that, I can't help you. Well, I was like, I remember I had that fake cable box. I got everything for free.
Good spot there by you.
When things pop in my head, I just roll.
Sell drugs. That's what the man is saying to you. Sell the drugs. Get the money. Watch the wrestling.
Sell the weed before it's legal. Soldiers of Shoot does not condone or support anything we say in this podcast.
No, we don't. No, they don't.
Bobby's already in the hills. All right, here we go. I'm from here. Kip Sabian, Sammy Guevara, the first singles match in the history of AEW. JWoww from the Jersey Shore sitting in the front row during this match. Or during the whole show, but it was
JWoww she got a nice up close couple of spots there.
Yeah, I have some information about this, but this match, I gotta say, I thought it was very indie-esque.
Yep.
And not that I didn't like it.
Okay.
I don't know that they wanted to lead into the pay-per-view with this match. Very much in the lane of the detractors who want to call it the spot monkey.
Yeah.
Oh, they're jumping off the ceiling. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It just came. It came off. And no disrespect to Kip Sabian or Sammy Guevara. I think down the road that a lot of people are going to like them. I think they're going to be big stars. I just think the pace of the match, the way everything went, I don't know if I sense maybe a little tension with the guys a little bit, where they were feeling the spot a little.
Mm-hmm.
And you brought up before, maybe the camera guys getting used to the angles and things of that nature. It came off as very awkward. I wanted to love it, but I'm like,
yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Been better. Yeah.
Yeah. Boy, this is why I assumed it would have, on the pre-show, I said it's going to be the first match ever in history. I thought for sure it would have opened the show because I didn't think it would have been as exciting as whatever they had planned for the Battle Royale. Adam Page. I mean, how do you... But, I mean, then again, you have to calm it down a little bit. So it did its job there, but maybe for the wrong reasons. It was a... I don't know, man. It was it was an okay pre-show match, I think is a decent way to say it. It was just okay. I don't know, maybe that was just some jitters or what, but and like you said, the cameras, maybe they're getting in position and, working it out.
I think too, maybe the UK loved this match given the Kip Sabian. But if you're that mainstream United States wrestling fan, you probably don't know who Kip Sabian is.
Right.
And a lot of them probably don't know who Sammy Guevara is.
Mm-hmm.
And all the crowd's moving, and I'm like, I see this dumb broad with big tits, and I'm like, this bitch isn't. I'm like, holy shit, that's fucking JWoww. JWoww from the Jersey Shore. And listen, I know more about the Jersey Shore than anybody on this planet not named Paulie D.
Shocker.
So I know it's fucking JWoww.
We're all shocked.
So I was like, I know. Everybody's like, oh, really? I'm so surprised you watched Jersey Shore. Everybody's shocked about it. Anyway, I'm like, and I'm looking over, I was like, oh, it's probably her new fucking boyfriend, whatever. So they kind of moved, and he did the spot where he laid Sabian over the railing, and he did like the whatever the fuck you call it,
Yeah.
crazy spot he did where it was cool as fuck, but I thought they killed each other. But anyway, so I see Jay Wild there. So before we end the match, I'll just get into this now because it kind of brings up something that Brandy Rhodes had brought up during the show. They were there with what the hell is that? What the hell is the name of that company that Brandy was doing business with there? She was saying it was the most accessible wrestling show to everyone. And if you didn't know what she was talking about, it almost came off like she was saying it's for, all races,
right.
genders and all. That's not what she was talking about. The company they were working with is basically for people like autism or blind or deaf or have some kind of issue like that. And they come up with these packages to allow you to experience the show in your own way. So if you have one of these
handicapped,
they will help you enjoy the show like you're one of everybody. You're gonna enjoy it the same way everybody will. And this company, and I gotta find the name of it, and I will before the show ends. Worked with AEW, worked with Brandy Rhodes, and apparently JWoww was working with this company as well to put over all this stuff and basically this is something when I heard about it, I honestly thought in my mind was like, how the fuck was WWE not doing this already? Like, if you're Stephanie McMahon, if you're Triple H, Connor's Cure and all this crazy stuff they do, and we're, we're Women's Revolution and all the stuff they do, it took Brandy Rhodes to figure this out. You need to do this. The name of the company is Kulture City. That's it. Okay, and sorry because I had so much stuff saved I almost missed it. So Kulture City, I'm gonna pull up their Instagram. Non-for-profit dedicated to fight for inclusion and acceptance of all individuals, regardless of their unique abilities, is Kulture City. And basically, what they do is they provide these bags of different products that, like I said, help people that are deaf or blind or can't hear, can't smell, have autism, or, some kind of, they have an extra need. They make the event watchable for you.
Their website says, "We rethink accessibility to create acceptance and inclusion for all individuals with unique abilities." So, yeah, if you think about it, like, even if you're just wheelchair and you want to get to that show,
that's the point.
Exactly. Yeah, it is weird that WWE...
The millennial wrestling.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, right away. It's
those morons when Brandy Rhodes came out on the pre-show, and the reason I bring it up is because she said it on the pre-show when they were kind of passing the mic around, and there's more to this I want to get to, but they're kind of passing the mic around, and Brandy Rhodes, when the mic came to her, she brought that up. And even in my head, I'm like, wait a minute, is she talking about like Sonny Kiss being on the show?
Right.
And it's very cool, and I think this again is another point to the type of people that Tony Khan, came. Brandy is, she's the whatever chief operating officer, whatever her title is, but this is a major this is a big thing. I found it very cool. I found it very respectable, and I know it sounds like I'm taking a shot at WWE, and I probably am, but this is what they claim to be, right?
Of course, right.
How are you behind the 8 ball on this? You guys should have been doing this 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. Like, we don't, normal people that don't have to deal with this, we don't really think about going to a show if we need special shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's crazy.
JWoww has an autistic son too, so that might, that's something else I know, or semi-autistic. What I don't, listen, whatever
Spectrum,
it is,
whatever, yeah.
Along those lines, so she has a vested interest, but good for her, good for Brandy.
That's cool. Yeah.
I just wanted to point that out because if you were listening to what Brandy said, you might have took it the wrong way. And having fun with the JWoww thing, but it all kind of tied in together to why they were all there. It's a cool thing.
Society soldiers of